Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at Bitcoin in late November 2025 and trying to make sense of two very different stories.
Very different, yeah. You have the charts on one hand, and then you have market sentiment on the other,
Yeah.
and they're screaming opposite things.
So our mission today is to figure out what this extreme fear really means for you. Is this the bottom, or are we just walking into a trap?
You almost have to start with the emotion, right?
Yeah.
The fear and greed index is at 15 out of 100. That is just, it's pure panic.
And historically, that's been a buy signal. When the F&G drops below 20, that's where you often see strong market bottoms form. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, it's that moment of, maximum pain.
Exactly. The hope is that this is the final washout. The market cap has shrunk, people are panic selling.
Yeah.
But we had to throw out a huge warning right away.
Okay.
Extreme fear often comes before the bottom, but it doesn't guarantee it is the bottom. We could easily see temporary bounce here, a bull trap, before we test deeper supports. Think somewhere around 82, maybe even 78,000.
All right, so let's push the feelings aside for a second and just look at the charts, the structure, and it looks, well, pretty bad.
It's undeniably a strong downtrend. I mean, it's textbook. You've got lower highs, lower lows, and the price is now trading below every single major moving average. The bears are in control.
Total control.
And the selling pressure is just immense. The price is like literally hugging the lower Bollinger Band.
Yeah.
That signals constant, sustained selling.
But there's one thing pushing back, right? The RSI.
The RSI, yeah.
Yeah.
It is deeply oversold. So that does tell us that, a technical relief rally is probably on the cards. Maybe a quick bounce to 89, 92,000.
Okay, but hold on. If we see that rally, how much faith should we have in it? Given that the fear and greed index is usually so reliable for finding a bottom, why are we so focused on these bearish weekly signals? I mean, isn't this the classic buy the fear moment everyone talks about?
And that's the core tension. That's the trap. Because if you zoom out to the weekly chart, this isn't just a little wobble. We've lost the MA25 and the MA50 on the weekly. When you lose those, that's a structural break. It tells you the midterm trend is really, really shifting to strong downtrend.
So what's pushing it down so hard from the outside? What are the macro factors?
Well, you've got some heavy headwinds. The sources point to the Fed continuing to be hawkish, rising U.S. bond yields, and a strengthening U.S. dollar index, the DXY.
And a strong dollar is usually bad for Bitcoin.
Usually, yeah. Plus, you have risk inside the crypto ecosystem itself. The altcoin season index is down at 27, so there's not a lot of speculative energy anywhere.
So if we put it all together, we have the oversold bounce signal on one side, but this powerful downtrend and macro pressure on the other. What's the most likely pattern here?
The most probable pattern the sources point to is what we call bounce then drop.
A relief rally.
Short-term relief rally, yeah. Fueled by that extreme fear and the low RSI. But then that rally gets sold into, and we head down to test those critical support zones. That $78,000 area is key. It was the psychological floor for all of Q3 this year.
So the downtrend hasn't really reversed. It's just catching its breath.
Exactly. It is pause to exhale before the next move down.
So there's the paradox. The sentiment is screaming opportunity, but the charts are confirming a really powerful weekly downtrend. You now have the full picture. And given the oversold RSI and the state of extreme fear, the central question these sources leave you with is pretty clear. Is this the biggest buying opportunity or the greatest risk you will face in 2025?